What's up, guys? How you doing? I'm Trenius and you're on the infamous Living Rim Network. Divine Power is always working for us. Why? Because we're trying to do right. 1 month clear science challenge. Let's get right down into it. My trip to the AKASHIC Records. Man, I'm gonna tell you like this. Before I actually went to the AKASHIC Records, I didn't have no idea that this was an actual place that I could look up on Google and it give me some information in Wikipedia about, what they've heard about it or what it really is and all this and that. I had no clue. It just randomly happened to me because I was dreaming. I fell asleep and I had a dream. And this dream was so bizarre. It's like one of those dreams that is so different that you wake up and you just think about it like, oh my God, I know this is a sign from God. Oh my God, I gotta tell somebody. Oh my God, let me look it up on, the internet and see if I can find some stuff about it. Symbolism of the trees, symbolism of AKASHIC Records. So it's like that type of dream. And I woke up feeling just like that before I actually knew that this was a real place in consciousness. I didn't know that they had recorded, data about this, throughout history, that this is an actual place that, you can go to in your consciousness of, to get access to all the information in the whole wide universe or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to tell you my story about it. So this was around the time when I was trying to get my life together and all this and that. I was just really going hard, just really trying to make a big difference in my life. And I was indulging into a lot of different inspirational books, like such as books by Max Lucado. I was also reading the Bible at the time and, a few other books, man. This was around the 48 Laws of Power time, books like that, At that point in my journey, it was like I'm reading a different type of book now than I was in that part of my journey. But it's all good. I mean, it all helps for the good and the greater cause at the end of the day anyway. So, so as I'm getting my life together, one night I have this weird, bizarre dream. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened in the dream. Okay, in the dream, all of a sudden I found myself like, gravitating in midair to this location which looked like a building. I'm gonna draw the building out and I'm gonna draw a visual representation of what it all looked like, in a dream and whatnot, because it's very hard to describe and it's sometimes hard for you to understand what somebody's meaning when they talking about their dream. So I'm gonna just draw out what I saw as I was floating in the air. I couldn't see my body. I felt as though I was a soul individual, like I was a spirit, and I just was gravitating towards this place in the air, and this place, this building was setting on a cloud, something like this. I love this new board. I can like draw on it and stuff. You see that cloud? Okay, this is me back here. That's me back there. So I'm going towards this. Okay, this right here is the cloud, of course, and that's me coming in towards the cloud in my dream. And so this is what I see. I see a building. It wasn't like a fancy building. I can't really recall the details, the shapes, if it was brick or stone or nothing like that. I just know that it was a building. It looked as though it was a compound more than a building because it didn't have any windows on it at all. And so I'm gravitating towards this place, in my dream. Okay, now dreams are distorted, so you just flip from scene to scene in dreams. You don't really actually go through the door. You just like appear on the other side of the door in dreams. That's how dreams are. And you know that. Yeah, so all of a sudden I find myself on the inside of this place and I'm walking down the aisle. I'm walking down the aisle of this place, which appeared to be a library. And I'm like, this is a library. Wow. Like, this is a library? But it was a different library. It was like, they had shelves stacked up super duper high. The shelves were like giant high. But for some strange reason, I could read the templates on the front side of every shelving or column or aisle like this. I'm gonna just draw it out to you. So Y'all know I'm an artist, right? I went to the Art Institute and yeah, all them thumbnails and all that stuff. I do all that, and yeah, I'm an artist, so I gotta brag a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, these are bookshelves. You know, these are bookshelves. Now this is me walking down the aisle of the bookshelves like that. That's how small I am. That's how small I am compared to what I seen in my dream, which were these shelves, these bookshelves. Now, now when I got to this one, of course I don't know exactly which one it really was, but I'm just trying to give you a, I'm just trying to give you my interpretation the best way that I can of what I seen. You know, so as I'm walking down the aisle, I stopped like right here in front of this one or something, and it said, I remember that this template, you know how the templates be on in the library from A to Z, you know, da da da, blah blah blah, call numbers. Yeah, these had words on them too, and the word that was right here on this one was illumination. That's the only section I can remember because that's the section I went down. It said illumination, so that says illumination. So I walked down the aisle. Now this is my spirit leading me through all this stuff. Like I'm lucid in a dream because I realize that I'm actually in a dream that's very different from all my other dreams. It's crazy because when you start dreaming about stuff like that, you know, it's like your senses turn on, you know, to where you're inside the dream and you can automatically know that you're dreaming. But the dream is so good, you want to stay in it, you know. And so in that dream, in this particular dream, I was kind of lucid, maybe 10% lucid, knowing that I just knew that it was very different from all my other dreams, and it meant something. It meant something real big. I knew that while I was dreaming, but I didn't necessarily know that I was asleep. You understand what I'm saying? So it wasn't as lucid as it should have been. If I was very very lucid, I would have done exactly what I probably wanted to do in this library or this Akashic Records, but I didn't. It's like my spirit was guiding me to certain things in it. So I went around that side of the bookshelf, and there were all these books on the side of the bookshelf. Of course, on the side of the bookshelf, that's where the books are. And so these books, they had like wires like around each book, and it was like one main wire that went that connected all the books together. Like these are wires, like a wire, like that, like, but they're very thin, of course. And so this wire was going through like protecting the books because they had some type of like some type of circular lock on them like this. I'm gonna show you. So there was a lock on the books like that, like this, and the wire was stretched out like that, and then there was locks. These locks right here, or these alarms, I would say, had lights on them. You know, like a little red light right there, little red light, and this is the wire. And all the books were in between, you know, like that. So it was like you cannot even get to those books, you know, because they were locked. They had alarms on them. This is real stuff, guys. This is real stuff. I'm not shooting you a wolf ticket. This is what I remember this like yesterday because it's so, oh man, it's just one of them dreams that you never ever forget. And so all of a sudden I noticed this very big book on the bottom shelf. Like it's like all the big books were on the bottom shelf. This book was ginormous. I think it came up to my thighs, I would say. And this book was leaning up against this like metal holder that holds a book. So the book was leaning up against the metal holder, which is right here, and the book was kind of like sort of tilted. It was a big book on the bottom shelf, big book, like you have to grab it like that. And I remember seeing like planets and moons and stuff like that on it. So the book kind of looked like this. I remember seeing there were planets on the book, and I'm like, wow! I seen a big alarm on it too, and the alarm was probably somewhere on a corner or something like that, and it had the wire going through that too and whatnot. I remember that book. But it's like I said, my spirit was guiding me to something else, and so I went on down the aisle after noticing these books, and I like grabbed this just small book. I don't know what it was called or anything. And so all of a sudden the scene jumps to I'm walking around some people in the what I thought to be a library at the time. And these people, I'm like, I noticed as a spirit in a dream, like since I was a little bit lucid, I was talking, but I couldn't hear myself talk. It's like I was trying to get their attention because they were like moving around about, but it's like they were not hearing me because I was not really talking, but I was trying to. I remember me trying to, and these people were just like looking at me kind of like spirits, but they weren't talking. You understand what I'm saying? So, after I thought about it and after I had looked it up on the internet and stuff, I came to a consensus that maybe these people were there visiting, and just like I was visiting. People from all around the world. You never know. I mean, maybe their spirits were there. Their spirit guide or part of them in consciousness was there, but I was not able to communicate with them. And it kind of made me wonder, like, wow. So I guess that's why they say be silent in the library, because I wasn't able to say anything. And so all of a sudden the scene flips from that scene to I'm inside this room. And this room seemed to be like one of those private rooms that you rent out, or you issue yourself in the library to have some private time. It was one of those type of rooms, and inside this room was weird. It was a dream. It's distorted. There were two bunk beds, and they didn't have any sheets or anything on them. They were pure white bunk beds, and I find myself sitting in a chair just like this, right? I find myself sitting in a chair just like this, looking at a TV screen, kind of like this right here. So I'm looking at this TV screen, and it was like one of the TVs that had the VCR up under it, like an old school joint, and it had the little VCR up under it. So whatever book I had in my hand, I never know to this day whether or not it was a book or it was like tape. I don't know, but I'm sitting in this chair looking at the TV, turn on, and I see like old footage, like black and white footage, and it's like a TV, and it's just old footage, like, and it's moving fast, like how the old shows, like the black and white shows usually move fast, like that. So I'm watching that, and I immediately think to myself in the dream, I'm like, well, damn, maybe the book was a VH1 set or something, I don't know. So I'm looking at the TV screen, and I hear like a voiceover talking that did not match up with what I was looking at on the screen. It's like I was looking at pictures on the screen that were going real super duper fast, and I heard this voice like explaining all different types of information about just random stuff. Like, oh man, it's crazy. It was a guy, and this guy was like talking from the TV, explaining information about all kind of stuff. I don't know what it was talking about. I can't remember nothing. I just remember like, and it's like I was sitting there for hours in my dream, but of course it was sleep. I was probably only sleep maybe 4 or 5 hours that night, and I was asleep. And so so after this, it's like I woke up, and that's when I realized, like, yo, oh my God, this is a crazy dream. Like, this has to mean something. Like I said, this was before I even knew what AKASHIC Records or all this stuff is. I didn't have no clue. I didn't have no clue about none of this stuff. But I'm like, yo, what that dream mean, God? And I began to talk to God and, pray. This is when I thought God was like outside on some cloud or something. So I was like always praying, like, God, what is it? What is it? What does it mean? And so I started looking up information, and I'm like, yo, typing in on Google, like, what does it mean when you have a dream about being in a library and you see books about all kind of topics like space, and it's weird, and it's in the air on a cloud. And then it came up like AKASHIC Records, a place where your consciousness travels, a sacred place where your consciousness travel, and you have access to all the information that ever existed in the whole wide world or humanity, all the information that has existed from the beginning of humanity. And I'm like, hold on now. So I was there? What? And then I began to contemplate, like, what was it about? Like, what was this? What does this mean? Because it wasn't like I was lucid enough to go in there and access records. Oh, I want to look up cooking. Oh my God, I want to look up how to play football in a universal way. Oh, dang, that's how you score a touchdown without even getting hit or touched. Oh, I see. Ha 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 ha. How do you do magic? Oh my God, that's how you do magic. It was fake all the time. I didn't know that. Wow, now I know how to just do it. Like, you know, it wasn't like I went in there and accessed whatever I wanted to. So, you know, that was my trip to the Akashic Records. Ever since that dream, I've always tried to go back. Like, I've tried to meditate thinking about it before I went to sleep. I've done everything I could possibly do. I prayed. I thought about it like for 24 hours of the day so that I can go to sleep to try to, you know, dream it up again, conjure up the dream again, but nothing. And I've always been trying to get back to that place to this day, man. But it's like almost nearly impossible if and that's how I see it, man. Like, if you meant to go places in your life or in your dreams or whatever, you will go there. But I don't think like some stuff you can't create. You know, some stuff is so sacred and way beyond our realm of thinking that we are not allowed to, you know, dab into. We're not allowed to get into it or create it or conjure it up or meditate our way towards it or anything. It's just some things are off limits. And this was one of those dreams, or the Akashic Records was one of those things that I find to be very off limits, because it's just something that, you know, if you experience it, then you must be lucky. And like I said, I didn't know I was lucky. I didn't know that I had experienced something that is beyond human understanding on a, you know, much more deeper level of intellect and knowledge. I didn't know that. It's just something that happened for me, and then I found out what it was. And it's funny because I make YouTube videos this day, and I'm able to tell you about something that everybody got to go read about. I didn't know, you know, but it was a beautiful experience. And once again, as you can see, this is what it looked like, guys. It was on a cloud, like a building on a cloud. I was floating in towards it. These were the giant bookshelves. These were the alarms or wiring that was keeping the book secured. I don't know why they were keeping the book secured, but and I remember this, like I said, that said illumination. I don't remember that it said like actually illumination. I just remember seeing the I, the L, and the U-M like that. You know, like, so I'm like, okay, that's it must be the illumination section. You know what I'm saying? But you know, everything in the dream is distorted, guys. So take that for what you want to take it for. Keep it in your pocket. Act like I never told you. I'm Trenius. This is the infamous Living Realm Network, guys. I'm going to upload another video tonight. Stay tuned for the next video I'm about to upload. Peace out. Oh, yeah, and please share these videos, subscribers. Please share them so that people can actually start watching, you know, these videos, and we can have more people on our network. I'll see you next time. Peace.